Hey there everyone, welcome back to the concluding walkthrough series of Cambridge 8, test number 4, and reading passage 3, collecting and specimens. So, once again, we don't have really letters that are assigned to the paragraph. What we have is just a plain letters, plain text passage, normal passage that contains abstract text. Pretty much that's what I believe. And then we have the first type of questions we have is true, false, not given, along with classification, and last but not least, we have some sort of what is that? Diagram labeling the diagram, something like that. Although we're not capable of writing that on top, we're just gonna give this a number and just start writing. All right. So what we have the questions. First of all, you can. My strategy involves my strategy is where I first of all pretty much read the whole text first, because passage 3 can be opinion based, argumentative, or abstract. However, it is also fine if you find out some keywords so that you will not skip. So taxonomic research involves comparing members of one group of ants. So taxonomic is actually a scientific way of classifying things. That's the word taxonomic. New species of ant are frequently identified by taxonomists, right? New species are frequently identified. So frequently can be the keyword here. Range is the key criterion for ecological collections. All right, we're not really sure. Okay, range is the key. I think. Ranging, maybe difference. A single collection of ants can generally be used for both taxonomic and ecological purposes. A single collection of ants can generally be used for both taxonomic and ecological purposes. I'm just going to take that, ecological purposes. And we have hand collecting using bait. Bait is actually it's a food, a type of food that is put on a hook of some sort of a stick to catch some sort of an animal, well, mostly fish or insects. So sampling ground litter using a pitfall trap. A pitfall trap is a hidden trap. Pitfall is some sort of a danger or difficulty that is not obvious at first, and that is preferable to take specimens from groups of ants. It is particularly effective for wet habitats. And what we have to know is that true, false, not given is true, false, not given starts. The questions. The answers are. They follow the order. However, we're not really sure about the classifications. Sometimes they follow, sometimes they don't. However, diagram labeling, they always follow the order, I guess. But we also have to be still careful with that. All right. So collecting ants can be as simple as picking up stray ones and placing them in a single jar, or as complicated as completing an exhaustive survey of all species present in an area and estimating their relative abundances. Abundances means a large quantity that is more than enough. The exact method used will depend on the final purpose of the collections. For example, for taxonomy or classification, for long series from a single nest which contain all castes, workers, including majors and minors, and if present, queens and males, are desirable to allow the determination of variation within species. For ecological studies, the most important factor is collecting identify. Alright, for ecological studies, we have first one is one important factor is collecting identifiable samples of as many of the different species present as possible. Unfortunately, these methods are not always compatible. They don't always work similarly. Whereas taxonomists sometimes overlooks whole species in favor of those groups currently under study. And while ecologists often collect only a limited number of specimens for each species, therefore reducing their value of taxonomic investigations. Okay, what is it saying here? Right, so The question we had is for true false not given. Taxonomic research involves comparing members of groups of ants. All right, so what do we have here? The exact method will depend, I guess. The taxonomist sometimes overlooks whole species of favors. Okay. For taxonomy or classification, long series from a single nest which contain all castes, workers including majors and minors, and if present queens and males, are desirable to allow the determination of variation within species. So that means that it involves classification. Taxonomy involves comparing numbers of. It involves classifying ants from single nest, which contains different castes of ants. So contains all castes to allow the determination of variation, meaning comparison, meaning comparing members. So I think that is true. So I'm gonna give it as true and highlight that. Alright, so new species of ant are frequently identified by taxonomists. Alright. New species of ant are frequently identified by taxonomists. So I think we still had something related to here as well. The taxonomists sometimes do what? What do they do? Overlooks whole species in favor of those groups currently under study. Okay. However, the question says new of an frequently identified new species of ant. The taxonomy sometimes overlooks whole species in favor of those groups currently under study. Currently under study means so like there's no information about how often new species of ant are identified by taxonomists. That is not given. Frequently, it doesn't say when. I mean, it doesn't give it as time. This is adverb of frequency here. Range is the key criterion for ecological collections. Okay, but we have for ecological studies we have range is the key. For ecological studies, the most important factor is collecting identifiable samples. The most important factor is a key, and the range to as many of the different species present as possible. So most important factor collectible. So what is that? Range is the key. Range is the key. So range is the key. So what is most important? The key is collecting identifiable samples of as many of the different species present as possible. So that is the answer. We have true for that. And yep. There we go. And a single collection of ants can generally be used for both taxonomic and ecological purposes. So pretty much true false not given is only coming from paragraph 1, I guess. And they're saying like, what did they say? A single collection of ants can generally be used for both taxonomic and ecological purposes. And saying, unfortunately, these methods are not always compatible. So that is false. So therefore, unfortunately, these methods are not always comparable. So that means one collection of ants cannot always be used for both purposes. They sometimes overlook, while ecologists collect only a limited number of specimens of each species. So that is going to be a false for us. I'm going to put an F here. There we go. Take that. Okay. Now, hand collecting and stuff like that, you have to read more. To collect as a wide range of species as possible, several methods must be used. These include hand collecting, using baits to attract the ants, ground litter sampling, and use of pitfall traps. There we go. You have everything in one place. Hand collecting consists of searching for ants everywhere they are likely to occur. Okay, so what do we have? It is preferable to take specimens from groups of ants. So it is preferable to take specimens from groups of ants. This includes on the ground, under rocks, logs, or other objects on the ground, in rotten wood, on the ground, or on trees, in vegetation, on tree trunks, and under bark. When possible, collections should be made from nests or foraging columns, and at least 20 to 25 individuals collected. So that is pretty much, I think this is going to be an answer for us for the first one. So it is preferable to take specimens from groups of ants. Collecting should be, so when possible, collections should be made. This will ensure that all individuals are the same species and so increase their value of detailed studies. Alright, so that means since some species are largely nocturnal, meaning they pretty much appear at night, collecting should not be confined to daytime, meaning it should not be concluded to the nighttime. To the daytime. Alright, so when possible, collections should be made from nests or foraging columns and at least 20 to 25 individuals collected. This will ensure that all individuals are from same species and so increase their value for detailed studies. Alright, so take specimens from the groups of ants. Alright, so who do we have? So first of all, collecting uses what? Hand collecting. When possible, collection should be made. Collection should be made, and this is hand collecting. That is pretty much A, I guess. It is particularly effective for wet habitats. Wet habitats, right? Since some species are larger, nocturnal collecting should be more right. Forceps are fine moistened paintbrush. If ants are known, individual insects are placed in plastic glass tubes, blah blah blah, containing something. Plastic tubes with secure tops are better than blah blah blah. Again, it is particularly effective for wet habitats. Alright, so wet habitats. We have wet habitats here. Baits can be used. Okay, we have baits. So we have baits, using bait. Baits can be used to attract and concentrate foragers. This often increases the number of individuals collected and attract species that are otherwise elusive. So this often increases the number. Sugars and meats or oils will attract. So what is it saying here? It is particularly effective for wet habitats. Alright, so baits can be used to attract and concentrate foragers. This often increases the number of blah blah blah. Elusive means hard to find. I think this is a good method. It is a good method for species which are hard to find using a bait. So it's going to be B for us. Okay, and then it is particularly, this makes it easier to spot ants and to capture them before they can escape them into surrounding leaf litter. Leaf litter. Did we have a leaf litter with us? Pitfall. No, we didn't have. Little time and effort is required. Little time or effort. Many ants are small foragers, primarily in the layer of leaves or other debris. Debris on the ground. So debris is so it's a remaining of something that has been destroyed. So collecting these species by hand can be difficult. So one of the most successful way to collect them is to gather by leaf litter, which is what? Leaf litter, ground litter, sampling ground litter. That of foraging and extracting ants from it. This is most commonly done by placing leaf litter on a screen over a large funnel, often under some heat. As the leaf litter dries from above, ants and other animals move downward and eventually fall out the bottom and are collected in alcohol placed below the funnel. This method works especially well in rainforests and marshy areas. So okay, we have marshy areas which is wet. So marshy areas we had. It says this method works well, especially in marshy areas. Rainforests and marshy areas. That means effective. Effective works well. So what was that? So it has been C. So we have C, ground litter. So a little time and effort is required. Little time and effort is required. Did we read? No. The pitfall trap, but yet again we have, is another commonly used tool for collecting ants. A pitfall trap can be any small. Separate containers are used for individual specimens. Non-alcoholic preservatives should be used. Separate containers. We read it somewhere here. It's separate containers. Specimens are collected using an inspirator, often called a pooter, forceps, a fine moistened paintbrush, or fingers. If the ants are not known not to sting, individual insects are placed in a plastic or glass tubes, which is a jar, capacity of small ants, containing 75 to 95 ethanol. Insects including plastic tubes with secure tops are better than glass because they are lighter and they do not break as easily as mishandled. Containers. So separate containers are used for individual specimens. That is hand collecting. That was collection. That was hand collecting. I guess that is A. Non-alcoholic preservatives should be used. Did we have it here? The pitfall is another commonly used for collecting. A pitfall trap can be even small container placed on the ground with the top level with the surrounding surface and filled with a preservative. Ants are collected when they fall into the trap while foraging. The diameter of the traps can vary from about 18 millimeters to 10 centimeters, and the number used can vary from a few to several hundred. The size of the traps used are influenced largely by personal preference, although larger sizes are generally better, while the number will be determined by the study being undertaken. The preservative is used. This is kind of one advantage of pitfall traps is that they can be used to collect over a period of time with minimal maintenance and intervention. One disadvantage is that some species are not collected either. Traps commonly encountered by foraging. Pitfall trap. Did we have any pitfall trap? Alcohol. We have alcohol here. This is most commonly done by placing. So little time and effort is required. I saw it somewhere. A little time or effort is required. So did I read it right down here? So pitfall. A pitfall can trap any small container. So one advantage of pitfall traps is that they can be used to collect over a period of time with minimal maintenance and intervention. So with that, one advantage of pitfall traps. It's a pitfall traps, and that we have pitfall. We have D. However, we're still left with number 36. Non-alcoholic preservative should be used. Non-alcoholic preservative should be used. But we have the preservative used is usually ethylene glycol or propylene glycol, as alcohol will evaporate quickly and the traps will dry out. Using what? Non-alcoholic preservatives should be used. The preservative used is is usually ethylene glycol or propylene glycol, as alcohol will evaporate quickly and the traps will dry out. Ah, all right. So it's saying if alcohol is used to collect or maybe preserve ant specimens, the traps dry too quickly because alcohol evaporates it quickly. All right, so that's why it has to be so that's why the ants have to be collected. So hand collecting is the answer for us. Oh, of course. Sorry for that. So I think it was not hand collecting. It was pitfall traps. Yeah, pitfall traps. So we have D. So let me just make that bolder. Now, no more than 2 words. One method for collecting ants. So we have no more than 2 words. We actually use yellow here. So one method of collecting them was where? To collect. Okay, this includes. We had something funnel. We have funnel. Where was funnel here? Okay, we have to find the word funnel here. All right, where's funnel? All right, so that I just hate it when I pretty much don't highlight. That's why you have to highlight it, guys. So this will ensure. Okay, where's funnel? Oh, there it is. This is most commonly done. So collecting these special species by hand can be difficult. One of the most successful ways to collect them is to gather to leaf litter. Okay, leaf litter. Could that be? So what is that? Number 37. We have 37, 38, 39, 40. So what is on top? Gather leaf litter in which they are foraging and extract the ants from it. It is most commonly done by placing a leaf litter on a screen over a large funnel, often under some heat. So by placing leaf litter on a screen over a large funnel, so the large funnel, this is a leaf, often under some heat. So we have numbers 37. So we have 37 as heat. So for that, and 38. As the leaf litter dries from above, ants and other animals move downward and eventually fall out from the. What was that? This is a leaf litter. That is a leaf litter, right? We know that it's a leaf litter. So that's a 38. A leaf litter. All right, we have 39. What is on the surface of something that is triangular shaped? A method for, so as the leaf litter dries from the above, fall out the bottom, collect an alcohol passed by the foam. This method works especially when the rainforest. A method improving the catch. Leaf litter. So done by placing a leaf litter on a screen over a screen. Over a large funnel. So this is a large funnel. This one should be a screen. So a screen is the answer. A screen. And finally, number 40. What is on the bottom? Below. So so this is and are collected in alcohol placed below the funnel. So this is a funnel, this is an alcohol. So alcohol. There you go, guys. I think we've done a really good job. This is pretty easy. Diagram labeling is, I think, it's the easiest easiest question of all. So there you go, guys. If you have any questions, once again, you can leave you can leave your response or questions in the comment section below. I will come back and try to come up with a very coherent and accurate and most comprehensible answer as possible. So yeah, we pretty much finished all of them, and this is a concluding video since we finished test 4. We finished all tests, both from all the way from number 1 until number 4. So yeah, so there you go, guys. If you have, once again I repeat, if you have any questions, please you're free to feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Of course, if you liked it, if you found it helpful, smash that like button and subscribe, because it helps a lot to this channel. And thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next episode. Have a wonderful time.